Hey, I'm Coffee Bum, but you can call me Coffee. Nice to meet you. So, who else is obsessed with K-pop Demon Hunters? For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, how? Just kidding, just kidding. I ended up finding out about this movie because my TikTok For You page was filled with people talking about it once the trailer was out. So naturally, I became curious about it as well. Unfortunately, there were so many people who called it both a movie or a show, I ended up assuming it was going to be the latter and decided to wait a while to binge watch it. That didn't last long. After it came out on June 20th, I almost got the ending spoiled at one point. Normally, I don't mind spoilers since I often forget about them, but with the threat of being spoiled of the ending sooner or later, the worms in my head demanded I watch the movie. So I did, while Netflix didn't realize I wasn't on the same Wi-Fi as my dad. Such happy times. Now I could appreciate the fan content on my For You page even more, especially the shipping art for Reginu. Apart from the shipping art, I kept seeing people talk about the Huntrix relationship in the movie, and their headcanons for them. Of course, the worms in my head wanted to join in on the fun. Oh, before I forget, please be aware this video will contain some spoilers. I will mainly focus on the girls that make up Huntrix, but I will also give a brief summary of the plot. With that in mind, let's begin! K-Pop Demon Hunters is a movie on Netflix, directed by Maggie Kong, Chris Applehands, and produced by Sony Pictures Animation, the same studio behind the Spider-Verse movies, another movie series I adore. The plot follows a K-pop girl group named Huntrix that fights off demons to keep their fans and world safe. Just as they're about to achieve their goal of creating a golden honeymoon, a barrier that keeps demons out, a disguised demon boy band called the Soulja Boys starts targeting their fans. The title's pretty straightforward, I must say. Making up Huntrix, we have Zoe, the rapper slash lyricist from Burbank, USA, making her Korean American. Mira, the visual and choreographer of the group, who we're told was considered the quote-unquote black sheep of her family. And finally, Rumi, the leader and lead vocalist of the group, as well as the movie's protagonist. Another important figure we're told of is Celine, who acts as Rumi's adoptive mother and mentor to the girls as she was part of a popular girl group called the Sunlight Sisters, who were the predecessors to Huntrix. We're told by Rumi's fans that Celine is the one who formed Huntrix around Rumi, and that Rumi is considered K-pop royalty since her mother used to be part of the Sunlight Sisters before passing away when Rumi was a baby. Despite the movie being called K-Pop Demon Hunters, Mira and Zoe are put on the sidelines. I remember someone saying the movie was supposed to be much longer, but needed to be condensed, which sucks, because I would have loved seeing more interactions between the girls, especially because the animation and music were amazing. I really loved the moments when the girls made weird or silly faces. I kind of wish perhaps we could have seen how they were chosen to become hunters, since we see the group in sync when they are fighting. It made me want to see glimpses of their budding friendship to make the climax of the movie even more impactful. With that in mind, I decided to get the hang of drawing the girls in my sketchbook to make sure I did them justice. I used references I found online and on Sony Pictures Animation Instagram page to make a mess in my sketchbook. As I sketched the girls out in pen, marker, and pencil, trying to wrangle the worms in my brain down while out in the sun baking and fighting against the bugs in the dark in the process. Eventually, after finally satisfied with how the sketches of Huntrix were looking, don't look at the weapons, I suck at drawing weapons. I don't even end up drawing weapons anyways. I began to wonder what exactly I wanted to draw. I had a couple of ideas. I know the drawings and writing in my sketchbook might not be legible or easy to see, so I'll go through them. This first one, I have this silly doodle where the girls are reacting to Celine telling them they're hunters now. Zoe and Mira perhaps don't know exactly what she meant just yet and are confused about it. I almost did this one. For this next idea, I wrote it down in my notebook first and then jotted it on a sketch. I thought of how there are people in real life who do dance covers and add their own rap verses to existing songs. I like to imagine Mira and Zoe could have done this and were noticed by Rumi, who personally scouted them. I know a K-pop idol did this, but honestly, I'm not into the fandom side of K-pop as much as I would like to be, so I can't remember who it was. Perhaps someone can tell me in the comments? The next idea I had was perhaps making an animatic of Zoe filming a video of her going up to Rumi's door to ask her to join her and Mira to the bathhouse, but she would ultimately get rejected. Then I thought of how real-life K-pop groups will sometimes join in on trends, so I did some thumbnails of them doing a dance cover to Gnarly by Cat's Eye, since that's all over my For You page too. Using Maya B on TikTok as a reference for a quick sketch, I remembered Rumi's braid and imagined that with her long braid, she would of course smack her friends when she did the turn, and it would end up as a blooper video. I even thought that they would mark the middle with a ramyeon cup, since we see that they end up having their own branded ramyeon cups. Finally, as a callback to the carb loading before their farewell concert in the movie before going on hiatus, I sketched out what that would look like for the very first concert. I thought it would be cute to draw them when they were just starting this tradition of theirs. None felt right. For most of these, I could draw a short comic, an animatic, or a few drawings to make a slideshow. Sadly, I wanted to keep it as one drawing. I wanted to work on something else too while making this drawing. Also because I still haven't done anything for the other content I like and felt bad I let this hyperfixation of mine overpower the others. I ended up filling almost 4 pages of my sketchbook consecutively, which usually doesn't happen. The worms were really going crazy these past few days, but they were not satisfied just yet. So I ended up walking away to do some chores in the kitchen for a change of pace. Once I entered, I was fortunate enough to be greeted by the golden sunlight pouring in while I did the dishes. Just as I turned around to get back to work, I noticed our kitchen table. That's when it hit me. Huntrix probably wouldn't have their own tower or private jet when they started out. Perhaps they lived in the dorms of Celine's company? I'm assuming she has a label the girls are under that perhaps has been used for the previous generations of hunters, or even lived in their own place. I began to draw. Inspired, I ended up with a breakfast scene of Mira, Zoe, and Rumi, together using my kitchen table as reference. One truth of life is food always brings people together. I can personally attest to this as one of my closest friends and I bonded over food when we used to dorm together at uni and were still strangers. My other close friend from high school and I ended up meeting at a lunch table at school, and now all of my fond memories with her were when we went out to get a coffee or for a munch. I figured if they're still getting used to each other on a personal level, they would probably share most of their meals together. Since it's breakfast, I figured they would be in pajamas, and just as I was about to figure out their outfits, I remembered they wear pajamas in the movie at one point, so I quickly sketched it down to hopefully remember. The only one who's different is Rumi, because I remember there was a flashback where she's wearing a baggy off-the-shoulder t-shirt and, spoilers, you can see her demon marks are only on her upper arms, when in present time, they began to cover up her neck as well. This drawing took so long to make since I struggled so much on the poses, hands, and backgrounds. Yeah, I know every artist struggles with these. I'm not different. I especially struggled since I couldn't find references for the poses I needed. I ended up having to use myself as a reference at various points by taking pictures, but eventually became tired of it. I ended up quote-unquote crying, and I say quote-unquote because no tears were actually shed. I was just being dramatic. My bestie was nearby, and she was kind enough to become my model. Thank you so much, Queen. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to finish this drawing. At one point, while taking a break to scroll on TikTok, I decided to add Bobby to the piece, the manager of Huntrix, because I really loved his character in the movie and how supportive he was of the girls.
Oh, yes! Rumi's crushing it! I love my girls!
I saw so many people headcanon that the reason he's so supportive of them is because he himself used to be a K-pop idol back in the day and knows firsthand how ugly the behind the scenes of the music industry can be. So he wants them to be themselves and be as comfortable as possible. I love the idea of the group perhaps having a more slow day to recharge between their jobs and training as hunters. Something Bobby or Zoe, perhaps even both, suggested to the group because it has been mentioned before in the movie that Rumi is a workaholic. I thought it would be cute to have him bring over some coffee for himself and Mira as he joined the table. While rendering, I almost forgot the turtles on Zoe's pajamas and the llama on Mira's pajamas, even though I drew them with the patterns in my sketchbook. So I ended up having to add them on a separate layer. On the topic of forgetting obvious things, I realized the window that I drew needed something on the outside so it wouldn't just look like the void. I really didn't know what to draw, but knew I wanted it to seem like a cityscape. I ended up painting a few buildings just to be quick, even though I hate painting buildings. Don't look too hard at the window, please. It kind of sucks. At some point when I looked at my progress so far from afar, I didn't like how the whole piece overall seemed flat. I decided to go back to render the girls even more, and I guess it kind of worked. I also decided to add a curtain in motion because the background was looking a little bare, and with the window open, there would be a nice breeze coming in, hopefully. I gave the backgrounds the same treatment as the girls, rendering them even more. Painted some mediocre looking breakfast items. Don't look too closely, please. And added highlights to mimic sunlight as well as shadows on a separate layer to make the scene a bright sunny morning before deciding it was finally done. Here it is! I hope you guys like it. That ends this video. I know I disappeared for a year before releasing this video, and truth be told, I got a little ashamed of making a new video and stuff happened. I don't post much anywhere in general, but you can see this finished drawing along with my sketches on my socials. I know I yapped a lot, and I hope you enjoyed me yapping. Make sure to leave a comment down below about what you liked about this video, or perhaps about the movie. Leave a like and subscribe! I know my little sisters will encourage me to upload more, so hopefully more videos coming soon. That's it for today. The next video is obviously going to be about this silly bean, because his birthday is coming up soon. Have a good day or night, and I'll see you soon. Bye!